Hi, welcome back. I'm the Book Guy, and today we're reviewing Babel by Rebecca Kuang. Now, you might remember Ms. Kuang from her Poppy War trilogy, which is an epic high fantasy series with lots of magic and wars and action and graphic violence.
I love violence.
But this story is quite different, focusing on a university and what we call dark academia. As a quick overview, this is an alternate history set in the 1830s England during the height of its colonial expansion. The university uses a magic system based on languages, and a group of students from colonized countries realize that their work with languages is helping the British continue their dominance over their own people. There's some really excellent character writing in this book with rich themes on imperialism and the art of translation, and despite the story focusing so much on books and study, it's still a fast-moving story. At 544 pages, I felt like this plot was always charging forward at an exciting pace.
Ludicrous speed!
This book is also a standalone novel, so there's no part 2 to this one. I'm really excited to talk about it today because I normally review series on my channel, but recently my patrons have voted for more standalones, so here we are, doing something different. So let's dive deeper into this book and we'll look at the strengths and some weaknesses and do it all spoiler free, and hopefully I'll help you decide if this is a book you want to try for yourself. When a young Cantonese boy loses his whole family to the plague, he is adopted and saved by a mysterious Englishman who takes him across the world to get his education. The boy is given an English name, Robin Swift.
Damn, that's a good name.
Robin's dream is to go to Oxford and study at the Royal Institute of Translation, informally known as Babel.
He said it.
There, his ability to speak Cantonese will make him a huge success. He sees Babel as a paradise, a gateway to his better life. Yet Babel stands at the heart of a realm focused on conquest. And Robin soon finds himself inside a gilded cage that uses knowledge and progress to hide its darkness. He begins to question his own role as a cog in the machine of empire. So this world is set in the 1830s, so it's very much a period piece, recreating that time and place in history. So there's old technology like horse-drawn carriages, candles, sailing ships, things that shape the story. There's old social customs and even costumes, all era appropriate. However, this book also introduces a lot of fantasy. Now, I went into this book expecting Babel to totally blur the line between real history and fantasy and create something, ahistorical. But it's actually very authentic. And it's easy to tell what's real history and what's fictional. So it's literally everything that's related to magic and the Babel school is fantasy, and everything else, I'm pretty sure, is historical. There's even a note from the author at the start of the book explaining some of the few minor differences that were made up, mostly around the Oxford campus itself. Now, the magic system here is just really cool. So it's all about the meaning that's lost in translation.
Not what you said, it's just the way you said it.
It's a fascinating idea. So magic wielders have silver bars that have 2 words inscribed on them, and it's always the same word but written in 2 different languages. And yet, there's always something lost in translation. The 2 words might have similar meanings but not identical meanings. So the magic caster speaks both words, and whatever the difference is between them in meaning, that's what the magic does. Isn't that cool? So one specific example of this is from the opening. So like on page 2, a spellcaster uses the English word treacle, so an old word meaning flattery. Then he uses an obsolete French word from the 13th century, which I think is pronounced triakel, something like that. It refers to an antidote for poisons. Of course, those sound very different, but they have the same Latin root, therefore they have different meaning.
Huh?
Essentially, by casting this spell, he can heal people of sickness. See how that works? Now, honestly, as the reader, you don't have to memorize these exact words and their meanings. You can just, see what the magic does, and that works for the story. But it's there if you want to study a bit further and learn about these words. really interesting stuff.
Fascinating.
But that's why much of this book is all about the study of different languages and trying to find similar words in different languages that can unlock magic. These silver bars can be used with buildings, in agriculture, and in warfare. It's the power behind the empire.
You're nothing without this!
It's honestly staggering just how much knowledge and research is in this book regarding the study of languages. So it turns out Rebecca Kuang has actually worked extensively as a translator. She's fluent in English and Chinese and translates between them. So this book is an incredible insight for what it's truly like to be bilingual. This book also makes extensive uses of footnotes, where it will go into great detail explaining the differences in some of these magic words. One last big piece of the world building is just the setting itself. Oxford University. So this book is almost like a love letter to university life. It certainly got me nostalgic for my old campus.
Nerd alert!
There's late night study sessions, student parties, and eccentric professors that are all part of the lifestyle. And most of all, the student debates as young people start to question the world around them. Now, I think the character writing is one of the strongest parts of this story, because there's quite a few characters for just one book, and they're all pretty distinct from each other. So our main four characters are Robin and his friends at Babel. So Robin is there to speak Cantonese, and he's described as being able to pass for white. He starts out as a very quiet and reserved person, just focused on his study and doesn't really know how to have fun. His friend Rami is a Muslim from Calcutta, and he's much more boisterous and charming, and he helps Robin to come out of his shell, but also shows Robin just how harsh his own upbringing has been up to this point.
You guys are getting paid?
The third member is Victoria, who is literally a former slave from Haiti who was chosen to study at Babel because of her gift for languages. She very much hates all the wealth and opulence of the school. And the fourth character is Letty, so she's a daughter of an English general. So she has a hard time at the school because she's one of the few women, but she also has no idea how good her life has been because of her wealth and privilege.
Money, please!
So Letty is probably my favorite character because she's just so full of contradictions. She thinks she knows how hard it is to be an outsider. But possibly the most fascinating character is our antagonist, Professor Richard Lovell, the man who adopts Robin. He is a professional, civilized man of great intellect and distinction, but all of that hides his cold ruthlessness and cruelty. This guy is such a piece of work and a master manipulator. He's just incredible character writing. My favorite part of the characterization in this book is just how everyone has their own set of beliefs, and we as the reader know those beliefs. So some characters wholeheartedly support Babel, the institution. Some disagree and want to work within the institution to make things better. Others oppose it in small ways, others in big ways.
Stick it to the man!
So there's a whole spectrum of different stances on the issue, and we see characters sometimes shift between these beliefs. As a side note, I think one of the hardest writing challenges out there is to write a character who changes belief. You know, someone who finds religion or loses religion, they change sides in a conflict, or they move from despair to hope, or vice versa. It's such a tricky writing challenge because it has to feel natural. You don't want it to be predictable or rushed or unbelievable, like Anakin changing to the dark side, if you haven't watched the Clone Wars. Sometimes a character change can just come out of nowhere, and it can also feel as though the author is preaching at you, like, this is what you should do.
Listen to me, listen to me!
So that's why, in my opinion, a belief change is a hard writing technique. But all that to say, I thought that was very well done here. It was nuanced, gradual, and believable. There's three big plot lines in this story, and I'll keep this spoiler-free and vague. We have study, rebellion, and the first hint of an upcoming war. The study plots are easily the slowest part of the story. We focus a lot on the characters and their relationships, but also the world building and the art of language translation. The study plotlines are also where the characters are at their happiest, so enjoy it while you can.
That does not bode well.
And the rebellion plotlines is more about the process of questioning. If things are unfair, how do we fix them? Can a mere student rebel against an empire? How does anyone fight back against a big powerful country and their corrupt government? What would even be the point of resisting?
Just asking for a friend.
This plot focuses on different ways to resist imperialism and systems of oppression, and how messy that process can be. And the upcoming war plotline, well, that is quite literally the very real-life First Opium War. This is where Babel actually has a lot in common with the Poppy War trilogy, thematically speaking, since the Poppy War is a retelling of the First Opium War. If you didn't know, in real life, the British flooded China with the drug opium and made heaps of money and caused a lot of harm. When the Chinese government banned opium, the British invaded, using the opium ban as a pretense. So this plotline focuses on the building international tensions between the two countries, how one country clearly just wants to be left alone, and the other is looking for any reason it can get to invade it and take their stuff. Our students find themselves involved in this geopolitical conflict as translators. Suddenly their academia has real-world consequences. There's quite a few big themes to this story. The biggest themes are all around imperialism and colonialism. So imperialism is extending a country's power and influence through colonization, through military force, or other means. Historically speaking, imperialism is almost always a big country trying to take land and resources from a smaller country. Like stealing a kid's lunch money on the international playground. But where Babel really shines is showing how imperialism can still occur through civilized means. How countries can use diplomacy, economy, trade, and even education to expand their powers and conquer someone else. This type of imperialism is often harder to recognize. I mean, a full-scale military invasion is pretty obviously aggression, but a trade war? A one-sided treaty, using terms like preemptive strike or self-defense, these tactics become much easier to justify. There's a reason that the subtitle of this book is The Necessity of Violence, because that's the theme. How else do you fight back against an evil empire that cloaks all of its actions in pleasant words? It's a very interesting, purely hypothetical question to consider.
Hypothetically speaking, of course.
Another big theme is in language and translation. So this book explores how translating a text can allow someone to twist the words to suit a narrative. How a translator can easily make their country look like the good guys and the other country the bad guys. For example, this theme is also explored in how the leaders of Babel and the professors will use civilized language to describe horrific things. The language they use to describe slavery or people dying in opium dens, these words just skim over the surface of how awful the thing truly is.
There's no war in Ba Sing Se.
But let's address the important question. How are the themes handled? Are they heavy-handed and preachy, or do they suit the story? Well, I don't think that they're heavy-handed, but I also do think that they're very, very thorough. These themes are discussed as if the reader has never even heard of imperialism. So it starts small and explores the concept very deeply many times over the book. So I don't think it becomes preachy, but it is just discussed a lot. One final note here, I love that the book explores so many opinions on these themes. So there are imperialists in the story who wholeheartedly support these sinister actions. But then there are others who are very, very sad about it, but definitely think we still need to do it. And then there are those who think we should fight back, but not too much, I don't want to get in trouble. And then there are others who are like, let's burn it all to the ground. I honestly believe this is the best way to explore a theme, by having multiple conflicting opinions. So rather than just one opinion being voiced over and over again, this is less like a sermon and more like a discussion. This book deals a lot with issues of race and gender. So our four main characters become a group because they're the only four people at Babel who are not white men. So they're all minority students. So the two women and the two non-white men have to deal with a lot of microaggressions. It's almost a daily occurrence in their lives, so it's a big part of the book. Now, curiously, we don't have any confirmed queer characters, but there are multiple characters who are queer-coded. Almost as if they are queer, but they just haven't realized that about themselves yet. It's very open to readers' interpretation. I personally think it's pretty clearly a thing, but that's just me. As for the content warning, this is not a violent book. Compared to the Poppy War, which was all graphic war crimes, this book has only a few brief moments of violence with none of the graphicness. That's also the point, showing the bloodless side of imperialism. There's also no swearing, no sexual content or anything like that, just a lot of adult themes. And is the ending worth it? Oh, definitely. I think this offered a very strong ending on all fronts. The character arcs were wrapped up very satisfyingly, the themes were just pushed to their limit. It was a great ending. At the same time, this is a standalone novel, and I don't normally read a lot of standalones, so personally I wanted more by the end of it, but that might just be me.
I want more.
And normally I do a segment at the end of my book review saying how much should you try, but this is a standalone, that doesn't apply here. So, well, that's all I have to say about Babel. Good luck and happy reading. Let me know your thoughts on Babel. Have you read it? What'd you think? And did I convince you to read it today? Also, let me know if there are other standalones you would like me to review. I'm already looking at Rebecca Kuang's other books, so there's more of these coming. If you want to support my channel, check out my books, the Immortal Investigations and Urban Fantasy series. Check out my online shop where you can buy a shirt, including this one about the Oxford comma. I also have a Patreon, so supporting me on any of those things will help me keep the lights on around here. You can also subscribe for free and check out more book reviews on my channel. I'll see you again very soon. I hope you enjoy a good book today. Bye!